everyone, happy Friday. So I wanted to just come on and tell about my week. A lot has happened in a very short period of time, and I wanted to just give a little bit of a backstory to begin with. So for those who might not know, because I don't know where this video will end up being shared, but I work as a nurse, and I have been a nurse for 10 years now. Yeah, and the majority of my time in nursing has been in what's called progressive care or telemetry. That's in the hospital setting, and it's what we call a step-down unit. So there's the ICU, and then when they get better, they kind of go downgraded to progressive care. They're still closely monitored, and then when they're better, they go to a medical care. So I've been doing that for quite a long time, and unfortunately, the burnout rate of nurses that we call the bedside is very, very quick. Unfortunately, I think the span, and correct me if I'm wrong, nurses, but I'm talking maybe 1 to 2 years, and a lot of nurses are like, please help me to get out of the bedside and into a specialty. It's very demanding, and it's long hours. It's 12 plus hours. We don't always get our breaks. We don't get lunch. We don't even get to go to the bathroom when we want to go to the bathroom. So it's just like this crazy marathon days. The reason I stayed so long is because, I was at my first job for 5 years, and then I wanted to start travel nursing, and of course you have to have recent experience in the field you want to travel in, and I just wound up in a position where I had a very flexible schedule, and I didn't want to give it up. I was like, this is pretty great. I can kind of make my own schedule. I can be on call, like it's kind of a registry position. And so, however, the current hospital I work in has their own internal staffing system where it's just a pool of nurses, and we just sign up by the day, and they call us that day to say we're confirmed or canceled. I don't know if some people might remember me sharing that in a previous video, but it's very flexible, and some people don't really like that, but you're always being floated different places. And I have been doing that for the past 3 years. Well, one of the benefits of this position is that they will train you, like, hey, we have a need here, we have a need there. So I've got to do some pretty cool stuff in my current position. I've been trained in stress testing. They've sent me to the Cardiac Treatment Center, which is just an area where we recover heart caths, IR procedures, and electrophysiology procedures. So I love that. I love recovering patients. You get to watch them overnight or discharge them that day. And I just loved it. And I also got sent to a radiation oncology clinic. So I was able to experience a little bit of the clinic side of nursing. I learned so much about radiation oncology. Just some great experiences. When I had the taste of the clinic, I was like, I really think I would like to go into a clinic setting. So for the past, I can't even remember how long, I've just kind of been applying to different jobs, keeping my eyes and ears open for positions available, and I don't know what it is, but I have had no openings for jobs. Like literally, sometimes I would just apply and immediately get turned down or just never hear back, which in the nursing world I feel is kind of rare. So I was like, what is going on? Like, I can't seem to get my foot into the door, and part of it is the reason is that people love the clinics. They love, like, they end up, you just hear of nurses staying there for like 20, 30 plus years because they just love it. There's not always openings, which I understand. But I was just like applying, and even applying at clinics that I knew other nurses working in. So it's like, if you have a contact, if you have a network, you can maybe do that. So I was just like, okay, like something is up. There's just no doors opening for me here for just a different position to work. And I was literally kind of just planning in my mind, like, maybe it's just time for me to leave Phoenix. Like, maybe it's just time for me to maybe pick up a travel assignment again, look at moving out of state, because my original plan was I wanted to keep traveling. Ended up staying here for a lot longer than I thought I would, but just some kind of things in my mind. I just felt like I was getting all these signs that my season here was done. I mean, I've had some apartment issues, my rent's being raised, just a lot of transition in a lot of different ways. So I was like, maybe I'm just planning on moving, and I just kind of mentally prepared myself for that. Like, okay, maybe my time frame here is I should start thinking and looking. Well, timing in life is very interesting because literally this week I had a job literally fall into my lap. I don't even know. So this is just my cool testimony I get to share. So I don't always check my work email, but I was on my work email at home checking. And so with my position I'm in, they'll just send these blast emails to the staffing pool. Like, hey, we have a need this day, we have a need this facility. And usually it's just day by day or like maybe sometimes a few weeks. Well, this need came up and it says help needed in the clinic. Contact this phone number for external staffing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like a clinic. Yeah, maybe I could just help fill in, you know? And even if it's just for a short period of time, great. I would love to help fill in. So I left them a voicemail. I got this on Sunday. Left them a voicemail. They called me back on Monday. And so I talked to staffing and they're like, oh, they have a need at least through September 30th for clinic help. I can send over your information to the manager. I'm like, great, okay, I can fill in for a couple months. Like, it'll give me time to kind of plan my next step here. Ended up talking to staffing Tuesday, and I got a message from the manager that said, we want to confirm you. Can you start? Because I told them I could start Wednesday. They're like, I didn't end up talking to the manager, but she said, come in Wednesday. I'd like to start you on orientation, and I will talk to you when you come in. So I was like, okay, wow, this is happening really fast. So I ended up going in on Wednesday, going to meet the manager. She was really nice. She said, these are our needs. We'll need, and she basically just started telling me about the job. Like, we have a need for fill-in help at least till September 30th, but I couldn't post it this way, but the position may become permanent. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I told her, like, I have a plane ticket. I was planning to be out of town starting Tuesday. And she's like, that's okay. You can take your vacation time and we will still definitely need your help when you come back. And I'm like, wow, how many people would actually let you be gone when you just start? So that was just very like, wow, okay, thanks God. Like, that's some favor right there. She was just kind of talking to me about my background, like, where's your background? She's like, you have all the skills you need for this job. We'd love to just get you trained in for you to help. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, if you can use me, sure. So I walk in and it's a clinic setting and it is a transplant institute. So they are the transplant clinic, and my role is I'm gonna be helping the nurse who does intake referrals. So she's the kidney transplant intake RN coordinator. Kind of a big title, but so I just met her and met the team and met everybody, and I walk in and this, like, all these cubicles, and right off the bat they're like, they're like, this will be your cubicle, and they had a little post-it note up there with my name, new RN Rebecca, and it had the date I was starting, and I was like, what is going on right now? I already have my own cubicle? Oh my goodness. Like, I was just kind of shocked because in the back of my mind, I don't even know if I said this out loud, but I definitely have been feeling like, it would just be so nice to have my own locker again, because I haven't had a locker in years, just a place to put my stuff, because I'm always going to a new unit. I'm always going to sometimes different hospitals. I just take my backpack with me with my little supplies. And I was just like, I'm so tired of being shuffled around all the time. I kind of just want to have a home, a work home. And so when I saw a cubicle, I was just like, wow, what is going on? First of all, I've never had that in my entire career. Like, I've never had a cubicle. So I was like, oh my gosh, because I used to see people in cubicles and I'm like, that seems like such a fun life. Like, you get to decorate it, you can have your own space, you can have snacks right there in your little drawer. Like, what is life like that? Like, I had no idea. So I saw that, I was like, what? And so I walk in, the break room has this beautiful view. It's got windows all around. You have this beautiful view. You can see the outside. I'm like, oh my gosh, because sometimes the break room is just this little hole. You don't see any windows. You're still hearing alarm bells go off, call lights, beeping IVs, mayhem and chaos. And there's just no, like, it's just very not pleasant sometimes. So right away, I'm like, what? And so got to just hang out with the nurse the first day and anytime you start a new position, it's like information overload. My background with transplants, I have taken care of transplant patients, like post-op. I've taken care of a kidney donor before, fresh post-op. I've taken care of stable, kind of farther out liver transplants. I've taken care of people with history of organ transplantations. They have special medicines that are on anti-rejection meds, so I know some of that. And I also have a history of working closely with kidney dialysis patients, my very first job. We worked with a lot of kidney dialysis patients, so I have a familiar background in that. So I was like, and also just kind of having that clinic experience in radiation oncology, like I knew what it was like to request records, to be in contact with other doctors and different offices and kind of, a little bit of that. But oh my goodness, so I'm learning a new computer system. Oh my goodness, like the amount of knowledge in just 3 days, my respect, so much work goes into the workup for organ donation. I had no idea. I feel like I've been seeing that top of an iceberg, and like the amount of work that goes into it is staggering. Oh my gosh, yes. I took home this booklet, this education booklet for me to read this weekend, all about kidney transplantation. So, oh wow. So the second day I'm there, I go to what's called committee, and I walk in this room and it's full of kidney doctors, the surgeons, other doctors, directors, managers. Just, it's huge. And I'm in there and I'm like, okay, what have I gotten myself into? And like, how am I even here right now? Amazing. And I learned so much, and just they're presenting cases to committee, and like the amount of workup that goes into just one patient referral is amazing. Just the labs, the records, the testing, everything. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot to this, but very fascinating, a lot to learn. And then today I got to sit in on a rounds and just hear and learn more from just the team. There's an incredible amount of people to make this unit run. I was like, oh my goodness, it's amazing. So I have a very small part in it, but it's going to be great. I'm already hopefully picking up on what I need to know. I know it's a process. I have to be patient with myself, but here's just the amazing news. I'm like, how did this job fall in my lap? How am I even here right now? Just the amount of doors that had to open up for me to even get there. First of all, it's a blast email to tons of staff. Like anybody could have called back. Two, the need wasn't even posted. They said, oh yeah, we posted this need on June 18th. I was like, how are they not even sending this out until 3 weeks later? I don't know if it's just the way the system moves, maybe slowly, but I was like, the fact that I got it, I was the one that called, I was the one that was confirmed, and I got to start within the span of like 3 days. I just am like, God opened a big door for me. He opened a very big door, and he opened it quickly. So I've just been kind of talking to people, and close to me, and I was like, does this sound like it's maybe I need to stay here a little bit longer? Because I really had my mindset on like, my season is done here. So just the fact I'm like, why is this falling in my lap right now, right when I was planning on leaving? And I was like, am I supposed to stay? And I know the need is temporary right now, but we don't know what can come next. So I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna make any big decisions right now, but I'm gonna take this opportunity. I'm gonna learn everything I can. I wanna do the job the best I can. And I just feel so lucky, you guys. I'm like, wow, how did this happen? But you guys, I have just been listening to these messages that, God is the one that opens the doors for us. He's the one that, if he opens a door for us, it stays open. Just the fact that, I feel like the door stayed open for me. Even the fact that I'm able to leave on vacation, like, I haven't even been there a full week. And I'm leaving, and they're like, that's okay. And I'm like, wow, okay, great. I'm in shock. I didn't even know if I was going to go on and share this right now. I'm just really in shock. I'm still processing it. But God is good. And his timing is interesting. That's just what I've been kind of just praying about. I'm like, why now? What's going on? Like, okay, I just very unexpected. And also to just pray for my heart to change, because I was like, I love the people in Phoenix. I love who I've gotten to know here, but it's kind of like when your mind's in that next place, it's like, to just, have you ever been that, like you just feel like you're going this direction and you're making plans and all of a sudden something comes up and just switches you way over here? Like, I'd love to hear any of your guys' experiences with that, because I think it's thrown me off a little bit. I'm like, what is going on? Like, such a big crossroads and so quickly, and just like, here we go. I was like, okay, well, maybe I didn't get those other jobs because I had to wait for this door to open, or maybe it wouldn't have worked out with that, or who knows. But I do believe that, you know, we can have impact where we're working. There's, you know, purpose in the people we meet and what we're doing. So maybe there's something there for me to do. And I don't know, who knows how long it'll last. If it's just short term, I would just be okay with that too, and I'll just be very grateful. But you know, God's really worked on my attitude. I've been very frustrated, and I kind of was hesitant to even share this because I don't want to make it sound like, oh, like everything's just great and roses for me, you know. Life with walking with God is just perfect all the time. No, like I've actually really struggled, and as a nurse, I've been frustrated of like, this is hard work. Like, I'm getting burnt out, and just having to keep the right attitude and try not to be negative or complain. Like, that's been my lesson for a long time, is just don't complain about your work. Just be grateful that you have a job. Just be grateful, and just keep, you know, and just trying to change my attitude and change my my mindset to try to be positive and to just be grateful that He helps me even through the really, really hard days. But this is new for me. So I don't know, I guess just, it's a work in progress, but can you believe that, guys? Like, something I just even thought in my head, a cubicle, a job, boom. And, oh, and here's the other thing. The nurse who's training me said that so the 4 nurses on the team, I don't know how the first nurse started, but the second nurse came because she had a connection. They worked together. The nurse who's training me had a connection because she knew another person in the department she worked closely with. She said that they interviewed a ton of people for her position, and that, or they had a lot of applicants, and they also interviewed quite a handful of people. And she said her interviews, the first day was 2 hours. The next day with the rest of the team, she had another interview. It was a few hours. Like, it was a process. And so the fact that I, 1, didn't apply for this job, 2, didn't interview for this job, and 3, started the job within 3 days, and they said, your skills are perfectly capable for this job, and we're just gonna have you start. Like, that is a door. That's a door. That's a door opened by God. I don't think that really can happen to too many people. And so I'm just like, okay, God, I know that was you. There's no way that wasn't you. And not to make the department sound like they're just pulling whoever off the street and training them. No, it's not like that. Obviously, I'm already plugged into the hospital, but still, that I'm like, that's favor, God, and I thank you. I don't understand how I got to be so lucky right now, or the purpose, but I thank you. Like, I think I came home the first day and I was so overwhelmed, I cried. I cried because I couldn't believe it was happening to me. I cried because, 1, I was just information overloaded, and I cried because I didn't understand my plans anymore. I was like, my plans were totally interrupted. So yeah, I just wanted to share my week. It's exciting. It's a new opportunity, and God is really good, you guys. And we just had to be patient. I had to wait a long time for this. Sorry. I had to wait a really long time, and I don't know how long it's gonna last, but don't get discouraged. Like, I was getting pretty discouraged. I was like, really? I can't even get 1 call back on all these applications? Like, what is going on? But just be patient. If there's something that you are praying to God about, if you feel like you're frustrated and stuck, like, just keep praying to the Lord and trusting Him that He's going to open the right door at the right time for the right reason. We don't see always why. And try your very best to keep a good attitude and to thank Him for what you do have right now. I know things can't be easy sometimes. Sometimes we don't always like our job or the situations we're in, but we can always learn something from it. We can always, we meet people, we learn things. We learn things even in really, really, really hard situations. And sometimes we just have to be, I watched a video, sometimes we just have to be mature enough for it. That was probably something I had to be ready for, is to be more mature in myself and my attitude and everything. And it's just really cool to see when you see God start to move. So yeah, it hasn't always been easy, and I haven't always been positive, and I haven't always not complained, but I'm trying. And it's just really, I just feel really blessed, and I feel very excited and processing. But yeah, that was my week, you guys. I'll try to keep this video short, but I pray you guys have a great weekend. I hope this encourages you. I would love to hear your feedback on, and also just how the Lord leads us. Like, another thing someone kept telling me is, if you feel God's peace, like, we kind of know internally if something just doesn't feel right. Like, I just don't think I'm supposed to be here. I've had that too before with a job, and I left. But I have a lot of peace in this job, which is weird, because I'm walking in and I'm like, but I have peace about it. So that I just have to go with that. So it's really cool. All right, you guys, I'll let you go. Have a great weekend. Yeah. Hi, Maria. I'd love to hear, yes, my nurse's feedback about this situation. Because nurses know, like, wow, this doesn't happen every day. So love you guys. Love my fellow nurses. I hope you're doing great, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.